In the winter of 1160, a 6-year-old boy sat alone in the dark of Kurama Temple, north of Kyoto. His father was dead. His clan was broken. The Taira clan had crushed the Minamoto in the Heiji rebellion, and the monks of Kurama had already decided this boy's future. He would shave his head, take his vows, and vanish from the world. He had no title, no land, no clan, and no intention of vanishing. Every night while the monks slept, the boy crept into the cedar forest above the temple and trained. Some say Tengu, the supernatural warrior spirits of the mountain peaks, appeared to teach him. More likely, it was the Yamabushi, wandering warrior monks who understood battle as well as prayer. Whatever the truth, something extraordinary was being forged in secret. Paradox. The child the Taira spared because he was too young to be dangerous became the most brilliant military commander Japan ever produced. Stay with me, because Minamoto no Yoshitsune won every single battle he ever fought. And the man he fought for spent 4 years hunting him to death. The Heiji rebellion should have ended the Minamoto forever. Yoshitsune's father was killed. His older brothers were enslaved or scattered across the country. The Taira Lord Kiyomori made what seemed like a merciful calculation. Spare the young boys. Send them to temples. Let them become monks. They were children. They were harmless. Yoshitsune was 6. His brother Yoritomo was 14, already exiled to the eastern provinces. Kiyomori had 2 decades of unchallenged power ahead of him. What he failed to understand was that he had kept alive the men who would destroy everything he built. The boy at Kurama was not studying sutras. He was waiting. As a teenager, Yoshitsune slipped away from Kurama Temple and traveled northeast on the old road to Oshu, the wild forested province at the far end of the main island. There, the powerful northern Fujiwara clan gave him shelter. He had no name that mattered yet, no reputation, nothing to offer but himself. He trained for years in the cold northern country, anonymous and patient. In 1180, 20 years after the Heiji rebellion, his brother Yoritomo raised the banner of revolt against the Taira. The war had finally started. Yoshitsune rode south immediately to join Yoritomo's forces. He was in his early 20s, unknown outside the north. His brother welcomed him. But those close to Yoritomo noted something unusual from the very first meeting. Yoritomo watched his younger brother with a careful, measuring eye. It may seem strange. A man raises a revolt. His brilliant brother arrives to fight for him. And suspicion is the first response. But Yoritomo was not a general. He was a political architect. And brilliant younger brothers have a habit of becoming rivals. For now, Japan needed a weapon. Yoshitsune was about to show everyone exactly what kind of weapon he was. February 1184. The Taira clan held a fortified camp at Ichi-no-Tani on the coast west of Kyoto. Their position had 2 natural protections, the sea at the front and an impossibly steep cliff at the rear. The cliff was so sheer that commanders on both sides agreed. No cavalry could descend it. There was simply no attack route from behind. Yoshitsune attacked from behind. He led a cavalry charge directly down the cliff face, through dense cedar forest, at full speed. The Taira had posted no guard on that slope. No one had, because no one had ever considered it possible. When the horses burst out of the trees onto the beach below, The Taira camp collapsed. Men ran for their ships before they even understood what was happening. It was not a battle. It was proof of a mind that saw the world differently from every other commander on the field. 1 year later, he would end the war entirely. In early 1185, Yoshitsune launched a night crossing, an amphibious raid on the Taira stronghold of Yashima that no one anticipated, and drove the Taira west. The shattered remnants of their fleet retreated to the Shimonoseki Strait, the narrow passage between the main islands. On April 25, 1185, at the Battle of Dan-no-Ura, it ended. Yoshitsune destroyed the Taira as a fighting force. In the chaos of defeat, the child Emperor Antoku, just 6 years old, was carried into the sea by his grandmother, who leaped from the ship with him rather than allow surrender. The legendary imperial sword Kusanagi sank to the bottom of the strait and was never recovered. The Genpei War was over. Yoshitsune was the most celebrated man in Japan. The celebration did not last long. Yoritomo refused to see him. No meeting, no welcome, no recognition of any kind. Instead, Yoritomo began accusing Yoshitsune of treason, claiming he sought personal power, that he acted against the clan. He offered no evidence. He needed none. Yoritomo was constructing the Kamakura shogunate, Japan's first military government, and he had decided that his famous, beloved, universally admired younger brother was a threat to it. In 1185, Yoshitsune sent Yoritomo a letter. It survives today, and scholars still read it. He asked one question: "What have I done wrong? I fought for this clan. I won this war. Why am I being called an enemy?" No answer came. He had days to vacate Kyoto. Japan's greatest warrior became a hunted man with a price on his head. He fled with a small band of loyal followers, moving through Japan in disguise. The common people recognized him, and they sheltered him. They refused payment. They refused to inform. The people had always loved Yoshitsune. Not the clan politics, not the Kamakura machinery, but the man who had ridden down the impossible cliff. His constant companion was Benkei, the giant monk warrior. 2 meters tall by legend, a man who had once fought Yoshitsune on a bridge, lost, and devoted the rest of his life to the man who beat him. They were running out of roads. In 1189, Yoshitsune took refuge in Oshu with the Fujiwara lord Hidehira, who had sheltered him once before. When Hidehira died, his son Yasuhira made a different calculation. He betrayed Yoshitsune to Yoritomo, and soldiers surrounded the compound at Koromagawa. At the gate, Benkei stood alone. He held the narrow passage with his naginata, and did not move. The soldiers loosed arrows into him. He kept fighting. They loosed more. He kept fighting. At some point, he stopped moving entirely. But he remained standing. His body stood upright at the gate, bristling with arrows, until the soldiers finally mustered the courage to approach. He had been dead for some time. He died on his feet. And he had not fallen. Inside the compound, Yoshitsune performed seppuku. He was 30 years old. Yoritomo became Japan's first shogun. He got everything. Japan refused to accept the ending. Within a generation, stories circulated that Yoshitsune had not died at Koromagawa, that he escaped north to Hokkaido, crossed the sea, and made his way to the continent. In Japan, a genuine folk theory holds debated with genuine seriousness even today. That Minamoto no Yoshitsune survived, traveled to Mongolia, and became Genghis Khan. There is no historical evidence for this. None. But ask yourself why the story exists at all. Japan produced a man so brilliant, so betrayed, so impossible to forget, that when he died at 30, his own country refused to believe it. They gave him a continent. They gave him an empire. 8 centuries later, the story of Yoshitsune still does not feel finished.